Hey guys, it's Chris, and in this video I'm super excited to present one last vlog series for the 2024 season. Now a lot has happened since we last met back in April or May of this year when I was starting out my version 2 build. Now for the end of 2024, it is now complete and I'm super excited to show you guys all the various different mods from top to bottom, inside and out, and everything else in between. So let's get into it. Now to change the whole automotive YouTube sector in itself, I don't want to bore you guys with various different mod videos, so I decided to do various different ownership series videos as I go along with the entire experience. But as it says, my version 2 build is now complete, so let me show you guys that right now. The first thing I want to draw your attention to is the Veloster Big Mouth Ram Air Intake. It is illuminated. Now typically when driving, I will have it set up to this red right here to match the red trim. I can change the various different colors via the app to like a blue. I can also go to a car show mode right here, which will cycle between all the various different colors. And you also have like a Christmas theme, so you can go like red and green right there, as you can see. But typically I'll just leave it in this red, like that. Looks so mean and aggressive from the front end. It really just adds an extra level of OEM Plus look on the front end fascia. But everything can be controlled via the app right here with all the various different colors. Now coming over here to the wheels, I'm running a 18-inch Konig Ampliform wheel. 18-inch by 8.5 in a dark bronze gold finish. This is paired with a Continental Extreme Contact Force tire, which is 10 millimeters wider than stock. This is a 245/35/018 tire. Now to get everything to fit, I am running Camber bolts on all four corners, as well as a PowerFlex front bushing. Now shockingly from factory, the rear had enough adjustment, so I didn't need to install the rear bushings. Now, two specific mods I'm talking about out back is one that is Chris certified. Your boy did the install himself. This is a Adro version 1 carbon fiber rear wing. And also, I do have a Borla Atak 3-inch Catback exhaust setup, which is loud as hell. I've got to do a full-on cold start in N mode, but all I can say is sorry neighbors in advance. Look at that rear stance. Let me zoom down so you can see that. It looks so mean and aggressive. Now for the interior, everything remains about the same. I do have the NGS button conversion on the steering wheel, as well as the carbon fiber center console trim right there. Now let me know in the comments below if I should do some more interior mods. That sunset's just beautiful over there. But let me show you guys under the hood where all the money has actually went in its entire version 2 build. And of course, I closed the door before I could even show you guys that. There we go, set up the prop rod. Now the first thing I want to talk about under here is that we do have the AFE Takeda Momentum Stage 2 intake setup with a wet or oil filter for better airflow. That is paired with their turbo inlet back there, as well as a Boomba Racing blow-off valves. Now when it comes to blow-off valves, I was honestly looking at the Boomba Racing or the HKS. Now to me, in my personal opinion, the HKS works more with the manual transmission as a whoop, 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 and then the Boomba's like a nice little the compressor surge. But that's just my personal opinion. The Boomba Racing fits more with the DCT, whereas the HKS fits more with the manual transmission. Now also under here, we have the Elantra N Turbo conversion kit. This is the OEM Elantra N and Konig N Turbo. I purchased mine from N75 Motorsports in Canada for about $1,500. Now the kit itself did include the turbo unit, which is bigger with stronger internals, as well as a hot pipe conversion. I did also get a turbo blankets, as well as a N75 swag pack. So you get like the chocolate bars, the candies, the keychains, just a little thanks for doing business with them. Now this is paired up with a Stage 2 ECU tune with the 7,000 RPM shift, which is about $650. Now overall, this car is making about 327 wheel horsepower and about 340 wheel torque. This is dyno confirmed by P Tuning. Now to put all this power down to the ground, I am running a TurboTech upper motor mount with a PowerFlex transmission bushing, as well as a Boomba Racing lower motor mount since my JB4 days. That's basically about it under here. first setting off, let me talk about the exhaust setup. This is a Borla Atak Catback exhaust, and it is loud as hell, as I will demonstrate. Woo, it is loud as hell. I can't wait to do a in-mode cold start. All I can say is sorry neighbors in advance. Now, it took me about a week to get used to the entire exhaust setup. Full 3-inch exhaust paired with a 6 high flow catted downpipe. Damn. Now, this is paired with a Stage 2 N75 Motorsports ECU tune. This car is currently making about 327 wheel horsepower and about 340 wheel torque. Now, I did get the 7,000 RPM shift, as this does have the Elantra N Turbo, and that's the biggest difference you'll notice, that it pulls like crazy on the top end versus the stock turbo. That's good enough. Woo. Let's calm the jets. Now, the biggest thing you'll notice versus the Elantra N Turbo is that with the stock turbo, the power will hit you immediately at 3K RPM, but will taper off at the higher RPMs, whereas the Elantra N Turbo will build around 4,000 RPM and take off like a freight train all the way out to the 7,000 RPM shift that I do have installed on this tune. Damn, this is loud. Now, I actually took my car to the drag strip right before Halloween and did a quarter-mile pass at Maryland International Raceway of 12.76 at 110.95, call it 111 miles an hour. On the same day, I did a 60 to 130 pass. Keep in mind the weather was about 55 degrees outside. It did a 60 to 130 time of 12.05 seconds, which I have to say, for a setup like this, honestly ain't too bad at all. Now, let's speak a little bit more about the wheel and tire setup that I'm running right now. This is a Continental Extreme contact force tire, which is 10 millimeters wider than stock, 245/35 ZR18 tire. And let me tell you guys, you can really feel the extra grip that you have on the road with those 10 extra millimeters. I've yet to take these tires fully all the way out to the limit, but it's just so confidence inspiring, let me tell you guys. And these Konig wheels are so good. It's such a looker, this dark bronze gold finish. I definitely want to get like the red trim and everything to match the whole bronze gold trim, which will look so good. Now, power-wise, I think this is more than enough for what it is. And that exhaust is loud as hell. Now, power-wise, I have to say, for this car weighing about 3,200 pounds, is really more than enough, specifically actually putting the power down to the front wheels. Now, speaking of that as well, I do have full motor mounts. So I have the TurboTech upper motor mounts, the PowerFlex transmission bushing, as well as the Boomba Racing lower motor mounts. Now, when it did actually launch the car, I did a 3K RPM launch. I did manual shifting, revving that all the way to 7,000 RPM with traction and stability fully off. Also, too, let me mention the Boomba Racing blow-off valve just sounds so good, paired with this AFE Takeda Momentum Stage 2 intake. Look at that, just chill, quiet, and calm. Thank goodness for the valves, because I can go right here, boom, normal or eco mode, and just close the valves, and it becomes semi-quiet. Keyword, semi-quiet. That 6 intercooler does wonders for the oil temperature right there. Right now we're about 208 degrees. It's about 58, 60 degrees outside right now. Look at that, temps are going down. Now I do plan to do a version 2.5 build to dial in things just a little bit more. I'm actually considering doing coilover suspension. I'll just give you guys a little scoop on that. Possibly coilover suspension. And I just want to get like the anti-lag shift and all that stuff so I can be like wop, 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 via the launch control and just have it take off like a bat out of hell. I've been running this tune since about August of this year. 327 wheel horsepower and 340 wheel torque is obviously solid numbers for what this car is. And you know, I'm really impressed with this setup right here. I don't think there's really more that I would do to my Veloster. Let me show you guys the blow-off valve sound. I really like that Boomba Racing blow-off valve. It sounds so nice. Now, obviously, you can go for the HKS or the Boomba, which is my personal two favorites. To me, I find the HKS pairs more perfectly with the manual transmission as you're going through the gears. Like, you know, that type of scenario. And the Boomba Racing, I just like that blow-off valve sound. It pairs perfectly with this DCT transmission setup right here. Exhaust is just so loud. Bah, 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 bah. I swear it's louder in person. Damn. Oh, you get a little bit of blow-off valve right there. You get the sound out back, the blow-off valve up front. It's like the perfect combination. Now, obviously, this is the last thing I did was the Borla Atak Catback exhaust setup, as I'd rather have more power than having all of the loud sound. What's the point in having all this sound if you're not really going nowhere? This is such a ball in this car. But yeah, that's all I have to say about this setup right here. The Elantra N Turbo is 10 times better than a stock or OEM Veloster N Turbo. You have improved reliability. The power is actually way more than the stock turbo would be. The tuning potential is just in another world. And the power just pulls like crazy, like a freight train in that upper RPM. So if you're on the fence about paying $1,500 for the Elantra N Turbo unit itself, I highly recommend going for that turbo setup. And Daniel at N75 is just such a wizard when it comes to like tuning this car. Everything's like, it works, it's super reliable. Basically, I'm about at the torque levels of this open block deck design engine at about 340 wheel torque. Personally, I wouldn't push any more torque as the block is a little bit more sensitive to handling the extra torque, whereas the Elantra N and the Konig N has a closed deck block, so that can easily hold way more power. And you can also go for like a hybrid turbo, make like 500 horsepower, like no sweat at all. This is also so loud. I don't know, the frequencies at like low speed driving is like super drony and loud. It kind of has like a V6 rasp, but when you go under load, it sounds 10 times better. Yeah, wide open throttle sounds 10 times better than like that low speed driving where it's like just so drony and raspy. It's like a V6 rasp. But yep, that's all I have to say about the driving experience with this new version 2 of Veloster N build. It has been transformed since the last time we met, and I'm super excited to start out my version 2.5 build sometime next year. Now, fingers crossed we can actually get the car a little bit more into the 12-second range in a quarter mile. Right now, I'm aiming for like a 12.4 to a 12.5 if I have my luck set correctly. Oh, that blow-off valve sounds so good. But I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna wrap up this video. This is Chris signing out, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.